Human trafficking is modern-day slavery. It is the exploitation of a person through force, fraud, or coercion. Human trafficking is a highly profitable crime and a violation of human rights. It occurs in every part of the world, including here in the United States. It happens in our big cities, our suburbs, and even in rural towns. It can happen to anyone. Human trafficking victims can be U.S. citizens or from other countries. Victims can be any age, race, or gender. But one thing they share is that they are vulnerable to being exploited. There are different types of human trafficking, including sex trafficking, forced labor, and domestic servitude. Any person under the age of 18 involved in a commercial sex act is considered a victim of human trafficking. No exceptions. Every year in the United States, thousands of human trafficking cases are reported, but many more go unnoticed. That's because human trafficking is a hidden crime. Victims might be afraid to come forward, or we may not recognize the signs, even if it's happening right in front of us. We need to bring this crime out of the shadows, to take a stand against modern-day slavery, and help combat this heinous crime by raising awareness of human trafficking around the country. But we can't do it alone. We need your help. So what can you do to stop human trafficking? Visit the Blue Campaign website to learn more about the signs and indicators of human trafficking. Share this video on social media to help bring this crime out of the shadows. Be an informed consumer. Know who makes the products you buy and the food you eat to help keep slavery-tainted items out of your home. And finally, recognize and report suspected human trafficking. You can submit a tip to federal law enforcement online or by phone. For victim support, you can call or text the National Human Trafficking Resource Center. Help us bring this crime out of the shadows and into the light. Join the Blue Campaign. One voice, one mission, end human trafficking.
Personal commitment to ending trafficking in a federal way has inspired me and many other people who are out here to join the cause. And that person is Diane Zorro.
Thank you, Doug. And first of all, I want to say welcome to everybody, and thank you so much for being here to support FWCAT and bring awareness to the issue of human trafficking here in Federal Way. Like Doug said, my name is Diane Zorro. I'm one of the founding members of FWCAT, and I do have a personal story. I'm not going to share it right now, other than to say that I have a child who's been missing for almost 10 years, and we do believe that she's a victim of sexual exploitation and human trafficking. So FWCAT was founded in 2011. This is our 5th annual 5K, so 5 years. And I have to say, I think this is the best weather we've had, and I'm seeing a poor, it's going to continue every year. It's going to be just like this. So the goal of FWCAT is to end sexual exploitation in Federal Way through education and collaboration with others. We have bi-monthly meetings. Our next meeting is actually this next Tuesday, the 23rd, from 7 o'clock to 8:30 p.m. at the EX3 Teen Center. And we will have two great speakers. Lieutenant Kurt Schwan from the Federal Way Police Department will be giving us an update on how Federal Way Police is combating this issue. And then we also have a speaker from Seneca Family Services who is going to be doing Human Trafficking 101. So it's real basic, human trafficking, what is it? Please join us. Don't think that our education is only limited to our bi-monthly meetings. We welcome any opportunity to come to you and speak. So if you have a group or a school, a church group, anybody, just contact us and we're happy to come and educate. I also want to thank the City of Federal Way, the Federal Way Police Department for their ongoing support. And I want to point out we have some great information here in the back. We have the Genesis Project, REST, Shared Hope, Advancing Leadership, Community Connections, the Federal Domestic Violence Task Force, Damsels in Distress, and Nexus. I hope I didn't leave anybody out, but please visit those tables in the back because they have great information. They're all doing great work. Now, I really want to give a big thank you to all of our volunteers. So our FWCAT volunteers, where are you? Come up front and give a wave. But especially want to thank Michelle, Emily, and Sean, because without them, this event would not be taking place. So thank you so much. And then lastly, I want to take a minute to honor one of our former members, Carol Fisher. Carol was a passionate man who cared deeply about this community, and in particular, this issue of human trafficking. Carol was one of our first members, and contributed great ideas and had a lot of input in our early days regarding our mission and our vision. Unfortunately, not long after joining FWCAT, Carol became ill and he passed away. So he was never able to be involved in this event. However, I understand that his wife, Eileen, is here. Eileen, if you're here, she's right here in front. So please give a big round of applause for the appreciation for all of their support in our community. So once again, thank you for being here. Thank you for helping to raise the awareness. And have a great time walking out there.
One more big round of applause for all of the FWCAT volunteers. This organization is led by volunteers, and they have such low overhead that all the money they raise goes towards programs and education in our community. We have an amazing lineup of speakers ready to jazz you up before you go out and spread the word. The first person I want to bring up on stage is our Mayor, Jim Farrell.
Hello, Federal Way! Hey, don't you guys love the new orange shirts? Awesome shirts, they really stand out. But let me tell you, orange is the color of revolution. And orange is a color, it's a change agent. And that's what I love when I saw this sea of orange shirts today. It says, we are not going to tolerate this. These kinds of crimes and human trafficking are a crime against the human spirit. They tear at the very fabric. And as the slogan says, we've got to be loud and we've got to stand up to this. And that's why orange is a color in which we say, we will not tolerate this. This is so great. This group seems to get bigger every year. And so, I want to tell you, when I prosecuted these kind of cases back in the King County Prosecutor's Office, Norm Mailing, one of the legendary prosecutors in the region, talked about these crimes in very human terms about being a tear in the fabric of our community. Today we stitch that fabric. Today we come together as a community and we're going to be loud and proud and say we are not going to tolerate this in our community. Thank you so much for being here today. It is my honor. Have a great race and thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So I just want to give you a few facts about our next speaker. And actually, I realized that I didn't introduce myself when I first came up. My name is Doug Baxter. I am the Violence Prevention Coordinator at CHI Franciscan Health. And St. Francis Hospital is proud to be one of the sponsors for this event. So our next speaker is Mr. Michael Anthony Jackson. And he has an incredible career and story to share. But I'm going to give you just a few tidbits of what he has done. Mr. Jackson, in 1978, he made a game-saving interception to preserve the Washington Huskies' win over the Michigan Wolverines. It's a legendary play that they still talk about. Michael Jackson spent 8 years as a Seattle Seahawks. He spent his entire career, he was a local boy from Pasco, he spent his entire career in Washington State. He has been an actor and has appeared in over 15 movies and television shows. He is a father to 2 sons, a stepfather to 3 children, and has around a dozen grandkids. And he is currently keeping our community safe as the Director of Development at Nexus Youth and Family Services. please join me in welcoming Michael Anthony Jackson.
Thank you. What Doug didn't tell you is I don't have these anymore. I gave those up after football. It's a pleasure and a pain to be here today. When I got here, I was stricken by the festive attitude of this gathering, and I struggle right now with what are we doing? Why are we here? And I've met a survivor who I've been talking to and spoke to Diane, whose daughter is still missing. I understand what you folks mean to do, and I'm sorry that we have to do this. It's a shame that there are kids here, and at the same time, it's a glory that kids are here. We can't, as a community, allow this to keep going on. We have to have the will. We have to have the resources to stop trafficking. I can't imagine the strength that Diane has to have a daughter missing. I can't imagine selling my body for survival and having anyone think that that's okay. I can imagine you doing what you're doing to stop it, to raise awareness. And for that, I am very, very, very thankful. There are things that we do in our life that have meaning, and hopefully will change the world. And hopefully this is one of those things. Yeah, when I talk, I always say that there are the two most important days of your life are the day that you were born and the day you find out why you were born. For many of us, today might be that second day, why we were born. And it's to bring awareness of the pain and suffering that some folks, maybe in this audience, some folks in this community, some folks in South King County, some folks in this state are suffering right now. Being trafficked, being exploited, being oppressed, being used as slaves. I thank you for being here. I'm sorry that you are here. I'd love to say go out and have fun, but I can't. Go out today and know that your efforts will free up somebody who's being trafficked, somebody who's being exploited. Go out today and be stronger than you've ever been. Go out today and realize why you were born. You were born to make a difference. You showed up here today to make a difference. Go out and free those who are being enslaved. Go out and seriously break the chains. Break the chains today. Doug told you a little bit about my statistics when I was at UW and when I was with the Seahawks. Those are impressive numbers. I used to think that those numbers were for me, but I've realized as I've gotten older that those numbers were something that I could then pass on, that I could be a voice for those who didn't have this voice, who didn't have this opportunity to speak on this stage. The work that I do right now, I work with homeless youth and folks who are suffering mental health illnesses and drug abuse.
I raise money for that organization in Auburn that's here in the community. That's why I was allowed, God bless me, to be that kind of an athlete, so that I could then share that. Everything that I have, I'm trying to give away. I'm trying to give it back to the community. And you folks, by being here, are being that same voice. You know, God bless you. That's all I can say. God bless you. Have fun. Make a difference today. Thank you.
One more big hand for Michael Jackson. Our next speaker is Maren Stewart, and Maren has an incredibly powerful story. She spent 22 years in commercial sexual exploitation. After getting out, this experience equipped her with the desire and ability to shine a light on the darkness of commercial sexual exploitation. Today, Maren is a survivor leader, advocate, case manager, and public speaker. She is the co-founder of Living in Victory, the first and only survivor-founded and led organization specifically designed for those at risk or currently involved in commercial sexual exploitation. Please join me in giving a big round of applause for Maren Stewart.
Hi. Okay, I have bad allergies, so hopefully you can hear me well. So my name is Maren Stewart, and I'm really honored to be here today. This work is very, very important to me because I am a survivor. I want to give you a little bit of background on how I even got into that life to begin with. And this is typical. When I was young, I experienced sexual abuse, which set the stage for me to be open to this type of experience. And by the time I was 10, I was using drugs. I was extremely promiscuous, extremely wild. I was the girl in school that everybody thought was bad, constantly in trouble, running away from home, very, very troubled. People were very worried about me. And by the time I got out of high school, I moved downtown by myself, and after a series of traumatic events, which I won't go into only because there's children, I decided in order to pick myself up and to change my life, I thought I'm going to get into the sex industry. My idea was to do it for 2 weeks. So I started out at a strip club, and within about a month and a half, I was trafficked overseas to Taiwan and Japan multiple times. Came back here, was trafficked to Vegas and Hawaii and all over Washington. And I kept getting older and older and older, and every line that I drew for myself as far as saying, okay, I'll never do that, or I'll never do that, or every one of them, I kept crossing them and crossing them. And before I knew it, I was fully immersed in the life. I had gone from thinking I'll work at a strip club for 2 weeks to being an escort and being trafficked. I think it's really important to say that nobody is unaffected by this. Not one of us. Whether you're driving past a girl walking on the street, driving past a strip club, a massage parlor, every single person is affected by this. Every one of us knows somebody who has either experienced it or knows a man who is buying a woman. Every one of us knows this. The people who would come in and buy, the men who would come in and buy the girls, they're just like every kind of man you know. From school teachers to politicians to college students to bankers, rich, poor, black, white, does not matter. Every single man has this wound in their heart, this gaping void they're looking to fill, and they're doing it with temporary sexual gratification. And every time they do that, they are hurting themselves even more. Every single time. It's making it difficult for them to have a true, healthy, trusting, intimate relationship with whomever they're with. And all of the girls who are in this life, or in the life, and who think that they are getting empowered by it or have control over their circumstances, they're deeply deceived, deeply deceived. I did not get out of the life until I was 41, and I got out simply and strictly by the love of Jesus Christ. That is it. That is it. And that is exactly the giant void in everybody's heart. We're looking and longing for the love of the Lord. And until we actually experience that, we're going to be looking for instant gratification wherever we can get, and the quickest thing we can find and the most instantaneously fulfilling is sexual gratification. So now, I work with girls who are just like myself, and boys. This happens to boys as well. Everything that I had been through was not purposeless, it was purposeful. I have the ability to speak directly, eye to eye, with people who are experiencing the exact same things I experienced. And everybody's story is unique and different, but we all share a common bond, all of us who've been in the life. Something happened to us, usually as a child, that sets the stage and makes us vulnerable. And I just want to encourage each and every one of you to look within your heart. Okay, you can raise money, we can do runs, marches, whatever it may be. Look within your heart. The change starts within your own heart. Okay? Please, please love yourself more and love those around you more than just seeking temporary sexual gratification. You're only hurting yourself. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much. And I just have to say that the girls that I work with, my youngest client was 11, and I worked with girls up into their late 60s, women in their late 60s. This is something that absolutely can be overcome. Absolutely can be overcome. The hope is greater than the ugliness and the darkness of this issue. The hope is always greater. Don't be desensitized by what's going on in the world. Don't turn away. Find out what you can do to make a difference. Thank you so much.
One more huge round of applause for Mary for sharing her story. Federal Way, are you ready to walk? Are you ready to send a message that human trafficking has no place in our community? All right, if you are running the course today, please head back and line up. We will get you going just as soon as we can.